In the first wondrous moments of teaching somebody to double knit, I don't worry about what hand they choose to hold the yarns in or an awful lot of things. And once the double knit fabric is established, then it's time to start thinking about a few things. And the first realization that happens to people is that, oh, the sides of my knitting are A, ugly, and B, are open. The secret to closing the sides of double knitting, whatever hand you use, is if the yarn that's attached to the second stitch goes over the top of the yarn attached to the first stitch, when you knit the first stitch, the second yarn becomes locked into place. So as I knit that first stitch, the second yarn is caught in at the side, and that closes the edge. So whether you choose to use 2 yarns in your right hand, which is a perfectly good way to start, but my least favourite way of holding the yarns, so I'm keeping my finger between the yarns to prevent them twisting around one another. Take them both back and knit. And my knit stitches are mounted strangely because they were purled on the previous row using unconventional rotation purling. That's another story for another day. So if you use 2 yarns in the right hand, that's how it goes. Now, at the other end, we want to make sure the pink yarn gets fastened in at the edge. We have to make sure the pink yarn goes over the blue before we work the first stitch. We're not worried about edge stitches or anything else at the moment. And we'll put this one, just for demo purposes, unconventionally purl, knit the knit stitch so it's happy, we don't have to turn it, swing them both forward, pick off the purl. So this is my second favourite method. If I'm forced to use only one hand, this is my second favourite method. And by keeping the front colour at the front of my finger, the back colour at the back of my finger, I prevent them twisting and keep my layers separate. And I have locked both edges closed. Now, my preferred method to work is 1 yarn in each hand. And my personal mantra is bright in my right. And you can see I've got quite a few twists with what I've just been doing, so I'm going to remove the twists. And I've positioned my right hand yarn to the right, my left hand yarn leading to the left. And now I'm going to use my normal double knitting method, which is 1 yarn in each hand. And I've got my blue over my pink yarn so that when I knit pink, my blue is locked in there. Now I swing them both forward and purl the blue. This takes a little practice, but it's worth it. And one of the biggest benefits here is the ease of closing the edges, if that's what you want to do. There's a place for open edges, there's a place for closed edges, but more often than not, we do tend to want closed edges. And there's a nice, neat action when holding the yarns in 2 hands. If the right hand yarn is the front colour, just loop it over the end of the needle, turn the work, and you're all set for the next row with the yarn in place to be held at the edge. So as I knit that first stitch, the yarn is held in place. Now, before I knit the second stitch, can you see there's a pink blip there? So before I knit the second stitch, I'm just giving my second yarn a little tweak. I'm keeping that pink stitch on the tapers of both needles. And I'm also being super gentle with my second front stitch and my second back stitch to try and reduce the big and little stitches at the edge. But really what this video is about is linking the edges without twisting your yarns or letting go of your yarns. Now my front colour is in my left hand yarn, so here we do a twiddle, and I have tried to write this in words, and all I can say, it's a twist and a twiddle, and it comes with practice. So give that a tweak before completing the blue stitch. And if you really want to practice edges, a long narrow swatch is the way to go. You get a lot of edge and turning practice until it becomes automatic. So here I am with my front colour in my right hand, flip it round the needle tip. So really that's a flip. Let's give this a little tweak before I purl the first stitch on the other side. Gently with the second stitch on each side so we don't make the side stitch bigger or smaller. So my front colour is in my left hand, so this is the twist. It's a twist or a flip. Tweak before knitting the second stitch, purling the second stitch. My front colour is in the right hand, so it's a flip. A flip and twist. And you'll notice my yarns haven't tangled up at all. I have closed edges, so it looks as if I need to tweak that pink yarn in a little more emphatically, but we can work from here.